Can you hear me? Could you hear me before? I hope you could hear me before. Hello, humans. How are you? I am Corson, and so I am wonderful because I am a monster, and monsters are always wonderful. Yes. Mhm, mhm. So, how was your day? Like I was telling them, it was really busy. No, it wasn't. I was watching. You barely did any teaching today at all. Right, but it was still busy. No, your job is to teach. You're a teacher, and you did not teach. It's even in your name, the weird teacher. But you did not teacher. You just watched. Right, but sometimes that's teachering. No, no, teacher of the verb teach. And you did not do the teach. You just did the watch, and did the point, and did the shout, and did the make them cry. I didn't make anybody cry today. Why not? It's a good question. Why not? You are so terrible. Thank you. So, he's going to talk to you about all the kinds of things, but first, you are going to listen to me say hello. I am very excited to be here, and you should check me out. Check me out. Are you done? Yes. Okay. Bye. Bye. Okay, so first off, my kids did TED Talks today. The reason they did TED Talks is that today is because next month we're doing a maker fair at my school, and so we're doing TED Talks at the maker fair. So to prepare them and make sure they had a TED Talk ready to go, so I could pick from a couple of kids, we did TED Talks today. So the first thing I did was I rearranged my classroom. Normally we're in groups, but I don't know if you can tell, but we are in four kind of long rows that go horizontally across my classroom, and you can also kind of get a tour of how messy my classroom is. It's very messy. It's what I do. And the reason I did that was because I wanted the TED Talks to feel special. I wanted it to feel different. So we set it up so it looked like an auditorium as much as we could get. So it really looked like you were presenting to a group. And a bunch of the kids were like, we really like it like this. We want to stay like this. And I said, no, because I hate this. And they got to hear me expound on, well, if you're sitting like this is lecture style. When you go to college, you'll probably sit in a room that looks like this at some point, maybe even high school. And this is lecture style, and the way this classroom is set up says the person at the front of the room is doing all of the everything, and you need to be focused on that person, and that is not how our classroom works. And they were like, yeah, but you talk. I said, yeah, I talk, but not all the time. And they went, really? I said, yes, shh, I have to talk about this on Twitter later. You have to make me sound good. And they were like, okay, you don't talk all the time. So I explained to them why they sit in groups and why we're not going to normally sit like this, and they were like, "Okay, but we really like it." Um, but it kind of sent a good message. Because it changed the attitude of the classroom, it changed the direction of the classroom, and then we started doing TED Talks, and some of them were pretty good, some of them were real close or kind of close, and one or two were super disappointing. Um, the interesting ones are the ones that are super close, and I've said this about movies too, and it's not something I came up with. I stole it from probably Devin Faraci, who's my favorite movie critic. He writes for birthmoviesdeath.com, which you should read because it's a great website. And so a lot of the TED Talks were like a draft or two away from good, or away from really good. Like they were close, but they weren't quite. A lot of them were much too general still. Like I had a girl who did something about hello. No. Okay. Have a good week. You too. They were asking about box tops. Like I had a girl who talked about clothes. And she
I told them not to use very many slides like that. Talk is not a presentation.
This is the coolest thing ever. How come I didn't have a teacher like you when I was growing up?
You were not lucky.
I seriously. Oh my gosh, that's. Do they like only certain kids sit in the beginning, or they share, they rotate?
Yeah, all the chairs except if they brought it from home, transfer from day to day.
That's so cool.
So they trade it up. It's pretty fun.
How neat. What a fun way to teach.
And it's more comfortable.
I always hear you're like the coolest teacher.
I'm totally the cool. You're hearing it from kids who aren't in my classroom, so they don't really know.
That's true too.
They're like, I saw this picture of Motley Crue in this magazine, and they're the coolest band in the world.
That's
and you're like, what does their album sound like? I don't know, but they're the coolest band in the world.
And then if they had you as a teacher, then they're like, he's not that. Well, that's really cool, though. I like your classroom a lot.
Thank you.
Very fun. See ya. Have a good weekend.
Bye. You too. Another parent poking her head in. Because we're live. Ta-da! What was I saying? Oh, so like one of my girls did a thing about clothes, and like she had a slide that was about the history of clothes and how clothes have changed over time, and she went by it like super quick. And I was like, oh man, that if I just because I really did try to talk to all my kids, but I have 31 kids, and that's a lot of little meetings before these things happen. So I told her like just that slide is a TED Talk. Just that slide, if you're really interested in this, is a TED Talk. It's you could have talked so much about how clothes have evolved and why have clothes evolved and what does that say about our culture. Like there's a whole lot to talk about. And then like her next slide was this pattern of a dress. And she said, I tried to make this dress, but it didn't work. So I didn't bring it in. And I was like, no, you should have brought it in. Tell us about the dress. That's super interesting. That's a whole TED Talk. What was the process of trying to make the dress? And what happened? And that's just one example of kind of what a bunch of my kids had, which was 75% of the way, and then we just didn't finish like we should have. And so we had lots of conversations about what does that mean and how could we have done better. And I'm going to continue to debrief with them as they go. And I told them, if you went today and you feel like, I'm not terribly happy with that, you can go again on Monday. If you go home and you rework it, it's not an assignment, but if you want to go home and rework and focus and work a little bit harder on it, or you as you were presenting in front of everybody, because they all should have been presenting at home, practicing with each other at home and in the hallway, and I gave them lots of time, and you notice something could have been better, or something I said made you realize it could have been better, I will let you go again on Monday, and I will let you represent your stuff. Because I also have a couple of kids who didn't get to go today, so they're going to have to present on Monday anyway. And one of them was like, can we change ours if we didn't get to go today? Is it okay if we change ours? And I went, am I going to know? And they went, what do you mean? I said, well, I haven't seen you TED Talk yet. Like, actually, right? And they said, no. I said, so am I going to know if you go home and you fix it? No. So, yeah, I don't care. Just make it good. That's what all I want is it to be good. So make it good. And they're like, sweet. So hopefully Monday I'll get an evolution from a couple of them, and the ones that didn't get to go today will be better than they might have been if they had gotten to go today. Trying to make everything fair. Kind of talking about the TED Talks, I stole this idea from somebody on Twitter whose name I don't remember. I did tweet about it when I saw it and when I made these, but I'm kind of excited about it. It's my cheapy iPad tripod. I know it's not a tripod. It's a monopod, but whatever. Leave me alone. See? You just take it, drop it in. Bam! Check it out. Oh, Doug, you're so clever. And handsome and modest. I made two. I made this one, and then I made this one because my classroom is full of cardboard. because I've been doing. We've just been cardboard is the best material, so I made 2 because I have lots of cardboard floating around. So kind of really clever little thing. The one I saw on Twitter was made out of tubes, like toilet paper rolls, basically, and it was for a smartphone because it's smaller and then it just drops right in. Jaeger, Pacific Rim, what's that? That was weird. I'm sorry. Oh, it's a Marco Rubio moment. Now I have to drop out of the race after wasting your money. Politics. So that's how most of my day went. We kind of dedicated today to TED Talks. I wanted to. Normally, I would spread them out. We do like 5 a day all week, but I really wanted Friday to be like TED Talk day. So that's what we did, and it was cool. We took breaks every 3 or 4 kids so they could stretch their legs and talk to each other and make sure what was shared with me needed to be shared with me, all of that really good stuff. And then at the end of the day, they all kind of splintered into they go to small group, they go to small reading group and stuff. And one of the kids who was absent a lot last week wanted more time to work on her TED Talk, and I said yes because she was absent a lot last week, and that's not really fair. And she decided that she wanted to trade what she was doing from what her original plan was, and she said, I want to do coding, but we have all kinds of stuff, so can I code a thing so that I can like show it off? And another kid did that with a Sphero, and I said, yeah, sure, what do you want to code? And she said, well, we have those parrot drones. Can I play with the parrot drone? And I was like, because we haven't done anything with the parrot drones. They've just kind of been sitting in the maker space. Because frankly, I'm a little nervous about having kids flying parrot drones around. But I said yes, because that's what you do. So the problem with the parrot drones as opposed to the Sphero is the Sphero battery lasts for an hour, 90 minutes. So you write the code and you push play and it does a thing and it doesn't work, and you write the code and you push play and it does, and you can do that forever, right? You can do that for 90 minutes or an hour. Parrot drone battery, the little parrot drone. Parrot drone battery lasts for 8 minutes, which is not really enough time for trial and error. So I made her kind of guess at her code that she made on Tickle, and then I looked at it and I was like, you have it flying forward for 8 seconds. She said, yeah. I was like, count to 8. 1, 2, 3. That's a long time. Yeah, that's a long time. So maybe let's trim that down. She's like, okay. And then she took it outside, and I posted an Instagram video of her flying it around, and it was doing flips and all kinds of stuff. It was really neat to watch what it could do. And she was all proud of herself, and we're watching it do her code, and it flew up however many feet for however many seconds, and then it would do a flip, and then it would fly forward, and then it would do a flip, and then it kind of dove a little bit, and then it started going a little higher, and it did a flip, and it started going a little higher, and we're like, that's really cool, and then that's backing up, that's going backwards, it's going back, and now it's landing. It landed on the roof. We had a very 21st century education problem in that this little guy went on a venture and landed on the roof of the school, which I was like, I will problem solve this, I will help you, and I opened Free Flight, and Free Flight would not connect to this little guy because the roof was too high or couldn't see it. I don't know why. But Free Flight wouldn't connect, and Tickle wouldn't reconnect, so I had to call the custodian and tell him I landed a drone on the roof, which was a new one for him. That'll probably be a story in the next book. That'll be $10, please. And now it's the weekend, which I'm very excited about, because the weekend is good. I enjoy the weekend. I hope you guys are going to have a good weekend. I think, because this is kind of supposed to be a reflection thing, I don't know how else to do the TED Talks to make them better. Obviously, more conversation with the kids as they're working. And I really did try to have a bunch of conversations. I gave them lots of examples. We watched a lot of TED Talks. But I kind of feel like for something like that, they gotta just do it. And I have to say, okay, that was a 70. That wasn't great. That was okay. That was this close to good. Here's what you could have done better. And that's kind of how we get better at public speaking and giving these kind of passion-based talks. Is doing it and doing it badly or doing it okay and having advice and getting better, because there's a huge gulf between you're gonna sit at my desk and we're gonna talk about what you're gonna talk about it and you're gonna do it for me, and actually standing in front of the class doing the thing. No matter how many words come out of my face about what I expect, they're still gonna do it wrong. And I don't know how to get closer to what I want without having bad presentations first. I guess doing a whole bunch of them, and we've kind of done a lot of talking during the year, but I think you kind of just got to do a bunch of bad presentations until you get to a good one. And that's how students figure this stuff out. I don't know how else to do it. And obviously I'll be puzzling on it, and this is kind of the last big talk of the year because we're getting near the end. But and we did some SBAC testing today, which destroyed their souls, and they felt awful, and they hate school now, and whatever. So I'm going to be puzzling on how to get them better at their presentation the first time. It's a trick because I also, have to teach reading, math, all that other stuff that you kind of got to do when you're an elementary school teacher. So there's time and there's fudging of, no, we're totally doing reading right now. We're hitting all the standards. We're actually practicing our TED Talk. But that's just something. It's something to think about. I want to get better at it. So that was my day, and I'm excited. If any of you were nearby, our Maker Faire is May 26th. It's a Thursday, and everybody's invited. We're going to be super excited. There's a lot of really cool stuff that's going to be happening. So I hope if you notice, I actually did get my hair did. What was it? Monday, Tuesday, whenever the last video I made was, and she put a lot more blue in it than last time. But they were in a bigger. I went to a student, which was kind of neat, but it took like 4 hours because she didn't. My hair is very strong and dark, and she didn't use strong enough bleach, so I sat in the chair for like 45 minutes with not strong enough bleach on it, and it didn't really dim it very much. And then she had to wash it out, and then she had to put heavier bleach on it, and that worked like it was supposed to. But then it was starting to get late, and her teacher was like, "We gotta start wrapping him up." So they kind of didn't do the blue as solidly as I would have liked. It's got still some blonde in it and some lighter spots, so I'm probably just gonna take care of it myself. Go buy some good dye and touch it up myself. This is not educational, but hey, I talked about my hair last time, so now I'm telling you about it. And they cut like 4 inches off. It's shorter now. So instead of a kind of long ponytail down my motorcycle, I just have a little puff ball. Little puff. So that was my day. That was my week. The TED Talk videos that my kids made will be on the YouTubes and on my class website, which is bit.ly/R Robertson, A awesome. It'll be up there as soon as I get around to it. But good day, good week. Hope it's going to be a good weekend. I hope all of you have an excellent week and a good weekend. And like I said, send me a tweet if you watch this. or if you're going to watch it later, it's going straight to YouTube. So if you watch it on YouTube, send me a tweet. Tell me you're really obnoxious and you talk too long. I don't care about your hair. And I will be like, sorry, dude. Why are you complaining about the free entertainment? And I will talk to everybody soon. Have a good weekend.